All right, this is nothing formal or fancy, but it's a new thing that I'm going to start doing sometimes, and it's reviewing new albums or CDs that I've recently purchased. This is going to be my review of the new Metallica album, Hardwired to Self-Destruct. And I got the 3-disc deluxe version. I pre-ordered it on Amazon, and it has a 3rd disc that includes some live performance audio, as well as a couple of bonus tracks that they recorded during the same sessions that they recorded Hardwired to Self-Destruct. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, I have to say that this is probably Metallica's best album in probably the last 20 years or something like that. And part of it for me is the engineering, because the last album, Death Magnetic, I thought sounded kind of odd. It was clipped a lot, and I think they mastered it too high. You know, they mastered it too hot. The volume the levels were just too hot, and I don't know what they were thinking there. Also, the drumming, Lars Ulrich's drumming, had sort of an entombed sound to it, especially like on the snare drum, and it was just sort of a strange sound. You know, I mean, I guess some people liked it, but I just didn't like it that much. So that really hurt the album for me a lot, because I'm sort of a stickler for really good engineering, good recording quality, and good mastering quality. And Death Magnetic, their prior album, didn't have that. But anyway, it's been what, like 6, 7, 8 years or something like that. I think 8 years since they come out with a new album. And this album doesn't disappoint. It's mastered really well. The level on it seems just about right for heavy metal. It's not clipping at any point. So it has a good impact, which means that you can actually turn it up without hearing clipping or feeling like your speakers are getting blown or something like that. And it has some really good tracks on it as well. Now, I'm not like a heavy metal expert or anything, but I do like it. I've been following Metallica ever since, you know, I have every Metallica album basically. And so I've always been a fan of theirs. And I'm not like a huge metalhead or anything, but I like a very wide range of music. So Metallica is definitely probably one of my favorite bands, and certainly my favorite heavy metal band. And I have to say, probably the strongest tracks on this album are Hardwired, Moth into Flame, and Spit Out the Bone. Those are my 3 favorite tracks. I don't love every single track, but it is a strong album, and most of the tracks are pretty strong. And again, certainly a lot better than their prior album, and probably a lot better than most of the prior, like 5 albums probably. I wasn't a fan of their last album, Death Magnetic, and I think the album before that, Saint Anger, it was okay. I wasn't much of a fan. Load and Reload were also just okay to me. They weren't that great. I was a big fan of the Black Album, though, in the late 90s or whatever that was. So yeah, I don't know what else I can say about this album other than it is really a good album, and probably the best Metallica album in like 20 years or something like that. And so I really recommend it if you like heavy metal and you like Metallica, that is. I don't really like this album cover, though. It's kind of weird. I think it would be kind of cool if, in my opinion, they should have just called this Metallica and made it like a white album. Kind of like the Beatles' White Album or something like that. And it would be a good companion to the Black Album, you know, that came out in the 90s, where Metallica just had the Black Album cover and just called it Metallica. It would have been kind of cool if this album, they released it and just called it Metallica, but then it was all white. I don't know, that's just my opinion. I don't know, this artwork is just, I don't know, it's kind of cool, but it's just kind of weird too at the same time. I'll show you some of the inside artwork as well. Again, I have the deluxe 3-disc set, which has some extras and stuff like that. So a good album, definitely a strong album. And you know, I think after when the Black Album came out in the 90s, it became kind of cool for fans of Metallica to start dissing on Metallica, saying that they sold out and things like that. And ever since then, people have been saying that, you know, like basically like, oh, Metallica now sucks, they've sold out, blah blah blah. But you know, any band who puts out any album is wanting the most people that they can to hear it, and to sell as many of the records or albums that they can. So Metallica is not really any different in that respect. But anyway, it just became like the cool thing to do to sort of diss Metallica after that and start saying, oh, they suck and stuff like that. But I've never done that, and I never really thought that they sucked or whatever, or even that they sold out. It's just that some of the songs and musicianship on some of the subsequent albums, like after the Black Album, weren't necessarily they didn't necessarily rock as hard, for lack of a better word, or thrash as hard, and stuff like that, which is okay. I mean, they got a little bit more into the pop type metal sound, and this one in some respects goes back to their roots, because while they do have some quite metal poppy type songs, some of the songs also do sound like they could be off Ride the Lightning. So they're in some ways getting back to their roots with this album, and it does really, really rock. So I recommend it. Check the description field for pricing and availability, and as always, for community and discussion, see the comments field. And let me know if you like this sort of impromptu album review format. It's not something I want to do like, I don't want to do it really polished. I just want to sort of talk about, albums that I bought and whether or not I like them, and, things like that. So thanks for watching. See you in my next video.